The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Now at 6, reaction to last night's presidential debate. Plus, what Governor Gavin Newsom says about rumors that he will replace President Biden.
They're really cute and fluffy.
Yeah, they are. Let the pandemonium begin. 2 giant pandas arrived in San Diego overnight.
You're watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
Good morning, everyone. It's 6 o'clock here on a Friday morning, and I'm Chris Grove filling in for Eric Connor.
And I'm Netta Irampur. So glad you're with us here. We want to get you ready for this Friday and for the weekend. So meteorologist Evan Ronnie joining us with that forecast. What's coming, Evan?
Well, good morning to you. Sorry, I was over on the side.
That's okay.
I always
Come
get
close to us.
So it's Friday, whatever. We're starting off the day with a good amount of cloud cover right along the coastline. But as you start to move inland, you'll see the sunshine as early as now, really. 6:01, we've already passed sunrise. 70s are what we're looking at mainly along the coastline, 82 for your inland valleys, 88 for the mountains, and 109 out there for the deserts. You can see what that marine layer looks like. It is not all that dense. It's already starting to break apart, which is a very good sign. It means that we should have that sunshine moving through pretty quickly. Want to mention the excessive heat watch that is now in effect. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes, but it's going to be a hot weekend across San Diego County, so details coming up.
You're destroying our country.
You're a whiner. When you lost the first time,
It's a very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
every single thing he said is a lie.
President like nobody's ever had before.
President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump levied personal attacks against each other during last night's debate. And they sparred over key issues such as the economy, immigration, and foreign policy.
Now, Biden and Trump will be back on the campaign trail today after the 90-minute event gave voters a chance to compare the candidates. Jared Hill is in Atlanta with a recap.
In a presidential debate rematch 4 years in the making, a stark contrast in style and tone.
People are coming in and they're killing our citizens.
So what we had to do is try to put things back together again.
Out of the gate, President Biden's voice faltered.
We brought out
The 81-year-old spoke quietly and several times seemed to lose his train of thought.
if we finally beat Medicare.
Mid-debate, his campaign said he was fighting a cold.
On January 6th, we were respected all over the world.
Trump's performance was bombastic, but the 78-year-old's statements were frequently false.
He's willing to, as we say, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month and kill the baby.
The presumptive Republican presidential nominee also avoided answering many questions. Moderators had to ask 3 times if he'll accept the outcome of the election.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely.
The candidates lobbed personal attacks at each other repeatedly.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now.
He could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office.
Being able to mute the microphones allowed the moderators to get through a number of topics, from abortion rights, immigration, the economy. The only real heated back and forth between the candidates was about their golf game.
That's the biggest lie, that he's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
As Americans watched across the country, undecided voters we heard from said the debate didn't help them make up their minds.
I wish it would have. Unfortunately, no. It didn't really add a lot of new information.
The next presidential debate, September 10th. Jared Hill, CBS News, Atlanta.
Yes, there was a slow start, but it was a strong finish. Joe Biden is fighting on behalf of the American people.
Outrageous.
And that was Vice President Kamala Harris coming to President Joe Biden's defense. It comes as some Democratic officials raised the alarm over Biden's shaky performance at last night's debate. And now this morning, some think Governor Gavin Newsom will replace Biden on the Democratic ticket.
El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells posted on X, quote, "This is even worse than I thought it could be for Biden. He is clearly not fit for office, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him replaced before the election." And County Supervisor Jim Desmond said, quote, "Enter Gavin in 3, 2, 1. Time for the country to see his failed policies on a national level," end quote. But Newsom is dismissing that speculation.
I was very proud of the president tonight. So from my humble perspective, this is not about, style. This is about delivering results for the American people. And tonight, I think Joe Biden not only asserted himself, he reminded people of his accomplishments and his vision for the future.
Now, Governor Newsom added that he would never turn his back on President Biden. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is responding to the Trump-Biden debate as well.
These two men are the people who ran up the deficit that is causing the inflation.
He held his own event in real time called The Real Debate. CNN said he did not meet the criteria for their event.
And coming up in 30 minutes, our political analyst, Wendy Patrick, will weigh in on the debate and how Biden and Trump performed. Our Verify team also looked into claims that Biden and Trump made last night. You can find that on our main page at CBS8.com. And now to some breaking news here locally. A pair of giant pandas from China are now in San Diego. In fact, they came overnight.
We got this notice while most of you were sleeping, and it was so exciting to wake up to. CBS 8's Regina Yurita live at the San Diego Zoo to explain why we won't be able to see them yet, but at least we know they're here, Regina.
Yeah, that's correct. Chris and Netta, I am on Panda Watch today. Even though the public won't be able to see them just yet, we're hoping to get a date on when that will be possible. But the two pair of pandas just arrived overnight here in San Diego, so they're at the San Diego Zoo. If you haven't met these wonderful, or actually haven't seen them just yet, we'll show you some video here because Yun Chuan and Xin Bao arrived safely in San Diego, and they will spend the next several weeks adjusting to their new home in a private habitat at the San Diego Zoo and will not be viewable to the public during this time. They're being monitored closely by expert wildlife health and care teams who will determine when the pair are ready to meet the public. The two pandas left their home at a panda base in southwestern China, with some locals from there lining up the streets, watching them leave in a truck headed for the airport for their charter flight to America's finest city. Now, the San Diego Zoo hasn't hosted a panda since 2019. That's when China recalled most of their giant pandas from U.S. zoos over diplomatic tensions at the time. But times have changed, and we are now waiting on Yun Chuan and Xin Bao. The San Diego Zoo, of course, has a history of cooperating with China at panda conservation, and actually they have, one of them has a special connection to San Diego because of Yin Chuan's mother. She was actually born in San Diego, so some cool news there. But a lot of people very excited for this news, of course, to see the two. Here's what some residents told us.
We knew that the pandas are going to be here. As a matter of fact, they just left China yesterday or something. So they should be getting here, I don't know, today. They're going to have to come here. They're going to have to go through a quarantine process, and they're going to get acclimated to the zoo. And then finally, they'll probably put some videos and stuff up of them. And then they'll have probably have a shindig for the opening of the pandas. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, so we're going to give them some time, give them their space for now until they finally acclimate to this new home, of course, here in San Diego. But of course, a celebration all around, especially for those who are animal lovers and those who frequent the San Diego Zoo and who have been anticipating their arrival. Chris and Netta.
So exciting. And only in San Diego can we cover this way, right? I mean, we're so lucky to get to be on Panda Watch.
It is the ultimate assignment, and I cannot think of a better one for Regina here on a Friday morning,
right?
Honestly.
Perfect Friday story.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, Regina, thank you very much. I know, total Anchorman vibes, right? No one push her into the exhibits, please.
No,
That's
yeah.
not allowed.
But, the zoo,
Not, yeah.
it's the best place to be even without the pandas, but now that the pandas are there, it's like everyone, it doesn't matter if you have the annual pass or whatever it is, like everyone has to go back now.
You gotta go back.
It's a great opportunity for the zoo to just be like, all right, come on back, everyone. Another round, all right? Let's take a look outside. It's going to be a hot weekend if you are going to head to the zoo. That's the emphasis on the forecast, is that very hot weekend is ahead, Sunday, Monday. If you are going to try to find the coolest place in the county, you're going to have to keep going west, and that's going to be right at the water. Coastal breeze is going to really help us out there. Excessive heat watch farther away from the water is what we see in effect from Sunday at 10 a.m. all the way through Monday at 8 p.m. So it's in effect essentially for Sunday and Monday. It will be upgraded from a watch to a warning once we get closer to that main event. This afternoon's forecast highs. Santee and El Cajon looking at a high of 83 degrees. You get 10 degrees cooler as you head toward the water in San Diego at 73. Look at La Jolla and PB. Could rest in the upper 60s this afternoon. Take you up to Oceanside, 78 degrees. Fallbrook, 80. Escondido and Poway also making it to 83 degrees. And then over the mountains and the deserts, they're staying hot. Good opportunity to avoid the mountains and deserts this weekend because that high of 91 in Campo is going to become more common for areas like Alpine, Mount Laguna, Julian as we get through the weekend. You can see that on the 5-day forecast here where we peak Sunday and Monday, staying pretty warm even into Tuesday. So today is the standout coolest day of the next 5. And honestly, some of the models say that today will be the coolest day of the next 10 days because even through next week, we stay in that warmer than normal range. So enjoy the more mild conditions we have out there right now. A lot of 50s for our East County folks, 55 in Ramona, 57 in Alpine, 62 right now in El Cajon, and 61 in La Mesa. Along the coastline, mainly mid-60s, cooler than what we saw to start off the week with mainly low 70s out there. Let's take a look at how traffic is shaping up as we start off the morning. It's 6:11, and so far we have just a couple things to take you to. First one's not causing any major backups, but it is a call that we got. Debris on the road on the 5 northbound where it meets the 56. You can see how there's not a lot of traffic around the area. Also want to take you down to the about Brownfield area. This is on the 905. Fast lane is blocked with a crash there. It's the 905 westbound at La Media Road. Let's also take a look at your border wait times while we are at it. 110 out there, 110 minutes, almost 2 hours for the San Ysidro Port of Entry. Otay Mesa Port of Entry is about 70 minutes, so about an hour 10 in total. CBS8.com/traffic can help walk you through what that morning commute is going to look like. Netta and Chris.
Evan, thank you for that. Coming up next, how much water rates are going up.
Plus, it's going to be very busy at the airport this morning. What to know if you are traveling. And later, your chance to win Padres tickets.